Hello, Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com and Fly Army 87 or Randall. I'm going to show you how I cut prescription lenses for your RayBan 2132 size 55 color 622, which is the black rubber. Let me take it right out of the box that RayBan sends it to me in. You got the RayBan case, you got the RayBan cloth. I'm going to show you how to clean that a little bit later. Plastic bag that comes in, and the original sunglass lenses with little plastic sleeve on the left temple. I'm a firm believer if it works well on the left temple, I'm going to put one on the right temple when I ship to you. But for now, let me clean up my mess so I can get to work. The first thing I'm going to do, and I apologize for going quickly, I got to cover a lot of ground, is pop out your demo lenses. Hang on, my wife is sending me a text. What a lovely wife. She's recording the big game for me tonight, the Duke Carolina game, which is a religion here in North Carolina. But I'm taking out your original glass sun lenses. I'm going to set those aside and I'm going to trace your frame. We just got to cover a lot of ground because I've got 20 minutes to show you how everything works. So right now, my Santinelli edger is tracing your Italian frame. In my Italian edger, it's the Santinelli LE1000 is tracing the shape of the left lens and now is tracing the shape of the right. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed with quality. These are all genuine, authentic RayBan frames. I'm getting ahead of myself. Alright, so what I'm going to do is pull up the shape of your frame. Here it is. Type in your pupillary distance, which is 63. This is a polycarbonate frame being cut for a polycarbonate lens being cut for a plastic frame, that is. And we're getting it ready for the chuck. So I'm going to take your right lens, which is a -50 sphere, take it out of the package that it comes to me in. This is a photochromic gray, which is an old school name for what we now call transitions. I'm going to spin the axis wheel on my Marco 101 lensometer to -50, put it in, spin this around where I find the optical center, dot it up where I can find the optical center because that's light for you. I'm going to darken that and put an R on there for right. Now to the left, -50 -1/4 at 75, turn the axis wheel to 75. Set the power drum to -50. Again, rotate the lens till that comes into focus, which is right there. I'm going to check the cross curve, which is your astigmatism, another 1/4 diopter. That is correct. Dot that up and put a left on there. Now there's a block that holds this in place while it's cutting in the machine, so I'm going to put that on there. I've actually got it up there. It's a double-sided adhesive sticker. I'm going to pull one side off and put the block on. That is now dead center on your right eye. I'm going to do the same thing on the left. I'm going to take one of these blocks, take my double-sided 3M pad. The black side is the sticky side. Put that on there, peel off the second side, making it sticky on this side now, and line up the left lens. Put this into the chuck. Hello, chuck. Which is nothing more than a lathe, and now it's going to cut. The first thing you're going to notice is this piece that comes down to trace the shape of your lens, the shape of your frame onto the lens to make sure it's large enough to cut out, of which it is tracing the convex side of the lens. Convex side. Concave, concave, concave. Slow down, Matthew, slow down. Mr. Fly Army 87 has got me all sped up because I want to show him how his lenses will turn dark, and I have to do it all within 20 minutes. So the actual cutting wheel is down here at the bottom. It's the lighter color wheel that's on the left of these three. It's like a heavy grit sandpaper. This wheel in the center with the channel, the valley, is going to put the bevel onto the lens. Now it is going to get loud and I'll have to close the door, but I just want you to see the lens strike the cutting wheel. Now you can see water running in the background, but polycarbonate lenses cut dry. Water will splash at the very end in one of its cycles. But the polycarbonate lenses, one of the features of those is that they're 40% thinner and lighter than plastic. They're also virtually unbreakable, as well as being bulletproof up to 22 caliber and have both UVA and UVB protection. Think of it as like permanent sunscreen for your eyes. We all know what the sun's damaging rays can do to your skin if you've ever been sunburned. Well, your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin. So you will always have UV protection while you're wearing these, as well as being a very safe lens. Unlike the glass lenses that I took out, You can tell by the sound. This is the sound of a polycarbonate lens. That if you get hit in the face with something, a rock, a baseball, it's usually not the wearer. It's the wearer standing next to someone doing something careless that you ended up being hit by. That lens will crack and break like glass will do, and you'll spend the next several hours in the emergency room finding out if you get to keep your eyes for the rest of your life. With this lens, that will never happen. So it's getting close to the final shape. If you notice, it's still completely flat all the way around, and now it's going to go over into the channel where it'll cut the bevel onto the lens, which is the knife-like edge, so it'll stay in the frame. Now I can cut any lenses, any prescription lens for any frame. Of course, when you buy the frame, you get free single vision lenses. At least 99% of them are free. If it's out of power range, you can have them at my cost. But you have upgraded, you paid the extra $45 for the transitions, which is still cheaper than anywhere else you'll find. Now it's getting its own little optical bath, where it's cleaning off a little bit of debris, which is kind of wasteful because I'm going to create more as soon as it comes out. Should you have any questions about any of this process, if you're out there and you want to know if your prescription will fit in certain frames, just email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com. The website is being built. I'm adding collections to it. I have all things RayBan. I've just added Polo. I will have Gucci, Versace, and Prada coming up very soon. I just got to get the IT guys working on that. So your right lens is done. I'm going to check the side. Well, I'm actually going to put a safety bevel on it first. When it comes out, it's pretty much the finished shape, but it still has a little bit of rough edges. So I'm going to use my hand stone, which is completely flat, just working on friction. I'm going to go around and put on what's known as the safety bevel. Of course, one thing I could do is also dry this off. I do not want to drop it on live TV. I'm going to scrape the optical sawdust off the edge. Looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Dun, dun, dun. I do this so much that I've worn a V-shaped bevel into my thumbnail from scraping lenses all day long. So I'm going to tuck it in at the outside corner and using my thumbs press down at the nose, and it's still a little bit large, which I somewhat expected. It's the golden rule. You can always cut more off of a lens. You can never add back to it. Same for a board. So I'm going to take it down about a tenth of a millimeter, and see how that fits. It's not going to go onto the cutting wheel like it did before. It's just going to go onto this middle one and just slowly but surely go all the way around. And one thing I'd like to tell you why this is recutting is that 99% of all optical shops do free adjustments. If it's a little too loose, or if it's a little too tight, or it's sitting crooked, just tell them. They'll know exactly what to do. If you're in one of the 21 states that has licensed opticians that I am in, there has to be a licensed optician there every hour, every minute, every second that business is open. There are many states that don't require a state license, and just try and find the person who has the most experience, and they'll do a good job of adjusting them. But that's the one nice feature about this black rubber, is it grips so well, so well. And 90% of all my videos, you see me wearing the blue rubber, because generally I'm wearing a blue business shirt of some fashion, so I wear a lot of blue because of the stripe. This color came out just a couple weeks ago. It's the blue crystal, so I'm wearing that today. Every day I pop my lenses out of one frame and put them into another, just depending on what color shirt or coat I'm wearing, so I'm always matching. That way my wife is jealous of me. Alright, let's see if it's gotten small enough this time. I'm just going to go ahead and stop it at this point. I should have seen it at the very beginning, but it's now 8:03 on Thursday, February 20th. It's 65 degrees in my hometown of Durham, North Carolina. This whole process does take about 20 minutes. Mr. Fly Army, I hope this is entertaining for you. Okay, to test it again, I tuck the outer lens in at the edge, and then using my thumbs I push down at the nose. It's still a little bit large. In fact, let me use the machine to take it down. Well, actually, you know what? I am going to go old school. Let me go ahead and flip this over on the left, and I'm going to bring it down just a little bit more by the machine, because I'm going to be working on this by hand. So I take your left lens, put it in the chuck, And just like the first step, this is going to come down to trace and make sure that everything cuts out perfectly. These are the steps you've seen before. So what I'm going to do is take this block off. It's not needed anymore since it's not going back inside the lathe. Pull off that sticker. And I'm going to go old school optician here, and I'm going to take this down by hand. The guys that taught me, in order to pass the state board, they handed you a large lens from one frame, and you had to cut it down by hand to make it fit another frame. That is old school. I am from the digital era. I can do a little stuff, but I can't do it like the old guys. So I'm just going to go around by hand, just like this was the cutting wheel that was inside. And I'm going to take a little bit off the lens, just like you see it doing, going round and around, so I feel like it's sitting in the frame better. Dry that off. That is perfect. That's exactly how it should be. In order to test it, to make sure it's not too tight, I use my thumb. And Randall, in the future, should you ever need more prescription lenses, I can send you just the lenses. You don't have to buy the frame. This is how you pop your lenses in and out. You just have to thumb your nose at the idea. I can't show you my nose, but with your thumb at the nose, and to get them out, I turn them downward. To put them in, I turn them upright. But I turn it down, and with my thumb, I press down at the nose. Out it pops. Now, I'm right-handed, so I always put that side of the frame near me while I'm working. But I turn the frame upright to put it in. I tuck it in at the outside corner, push down at the nose, and then it snaps right in. So, let me see, while I was doing all that, your optical center came off the right lens, so I'm going to check that power. I'm going to find that because I will need to know what it is later. Just for inspection purposes. Put that on there so you can see it. That little red dot, that's exactly where your pupil is going to be while wearing the frame. So the left lens is almost done. We're going to make sure it fits, and then I'm using a term called I activate them, where I turn the lenses from clear to dark so you can watch as it happens. This is the color 622, which is the black rubber. Hopefully you can zoom in on that and see that. Hopefully my GoPro camera is good enough for that. The blue rubber is 811. The classic shiny black, which people have seen their entire lives, is the color 901L. They actually discontinued it for a while. The 901 is the shiny black in the smaller 52 eye size. When they discontinued the frame and they brought it back, they called it the 901L for large. One of RayBan's very, very few blunders. So, I'm going to dry your lens off. I'm going to put the safety bevel on there. Then I'm going to test to make sure that it fits in the frame. I have to scrape the Schwarf, which is what the optical sawdust is, wipe it on the floor, which is my patented move. If I was a wrestler, that's what I would do. If I was an NFL baller, I'd wipe stuff on the floor. So I'm going to take the outside corner, tuck it in, and then push down at the nose. It still needs to go a little bit more, so I'm going to go old school again. I'm going to pop this off, because I think I can do it faster than the machine. Your optical center is still on the lens, so I don't need to add that back on there. So I'm just going to go all the way around and take a little bit off until it fits in the frame. And once upon a time, I had a paper towel to wipe the dust off. Okay, there we go. Perfect. I knew I could do it faster in the machine. Now, I'm just going to check the axis. That's at 75. I checked the power of the right eye. I now want to verify the power of the left. Minus 50, minus a quarter. Perfect. Okay, so this is why I had the red dots on there. Your pupillary distance is 63. Let me put up my PD stick. And when you look up there, it comes to 63. Perfect. Dead on. Let me clean these red dots off, and then I'm going to show you how your lenses turn from the clear geek chic look to the cool classic RayBan sunglasses right before your eyes. Now, it does take 30 to 45 seconds for it to darken. It's a little bit longer when it comes back into when you come out of the sun back into an enclosed area indoors, it takes about 45 seconds to a minute. But right now you can see that it's clear. And I'm going to put it in my little box for transitions and activate the very strong UV light that is in there. Now, all transition lenses will get dark on day 1. If you give them 2 weeks, they can continue to darken every day for the first 2 weeks till they get to their final setting. They work best in any temperature under 95 degrees. When it's 95 degrees and above, you're miserable, your lenses are miserable, everything is miserable. So the cooler it is, the darker it will be. But the only time they will not work is when you're in your car driving, and that's when everyone wants sunglasses. That's the one limitation, and it's not the transitions, it's actually the windshield of your car absorbs all the sun's ultraviolet rays that would cause them to turn dark. The reason why your windshield absorbs that is so your dashboard doesn't crack from sitting in the sun all day, or your upholstery doesn't rot. Now, if you have a convertible or a motorcycle, they will darken, but just not behind the windshield of a traditional car. They've just come out. Now, as you can see, they are dark. Give them 2 weeks. They're going to keep getting darker and darker every day for the first 2 weeks so they reach their final setting. One last thing I want to do before I box them up and shipping to you is get them in standard alignment where they're flat on the table. Flip that over. That is, check the hinges that they both close evenly and properly and they overlap. That is perfect. I will get these things ready to ship. I'll do it right now for you, Mr. Fly Army. But I do appreciate that you purchased this from me. If you have any questions, email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com, and I hope you've got a chance to watch how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.